All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started now. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Will. I'm the Cooking Matters AmeriCorps Direct member at the Arkansas Hunger Relief Alliance. Jasmine will be my chat moderator today. She's the AmeriCorps Vista member at the Arkansas Hunger Relief Alliance. And today we're going to be talking about Hack Your Snack, must-have tips for easy, healthy snacks for your family. So let's go ahead and get started. And of course, my slides are not. Okay, there we go. Please participate by chat. We want this to be as much of a dialogue as possible rather than me just sitting here and talking the whole time, because that can get pretty boring, and I don't like listening to myself speak. So I would love to hear some of the comments that y'all have, whether it's questions, suggestions, or just any experiences that y'all have in the kitchen. Yeah, feel free to share. Some of the online logistics, though, please mute when you're not speaking. Video not required. Also, this meeting is being recorded. I thought I took that out, but I guess I did not, so ignore that. But if anyone wants to start out first with sharing their favorite snack, for me, I would say anything with hummus, really. I don't know, hummus is very easy for me just to pull out of the refrigerator and have some pretzels or carrots or chips or crackers, whatever, and just dip that. But I'm curious if anyone else has a favorite snack that they would like to share. So some of the things that we'll do today, we'll discuss making healthy homemade snacks. We'll also share some tips for saving time when buying and preparing healthy snacks. We'll talk about how to involve kids in snack preparation at home. And we'll also talk about food forms that usually cost less per unit so you can shop quick and still save money. So we have some more questions. If everyone would please continue to share. How often do your kids snack on a typical day? And how do you know if a snack is healthy? And while y'all are chatting that in, I'm going to move to the next slide. So yeah, with every class, we usually start with this image of my plate, which is just really a good representation of, the different portions of different food groups that you're supposed to be eating. Most people think of the pyramid, but I think this is a better representation and can help visualize it a little bit better. But if you notice, yeah, fruits and vegetables are supposed to be half of what you're eating. I know that is something that I continue to work on every day because oftentimes when I'm cooking, it is easy just to make a meal heavy with like grains and protein. So definitely trying to balance out my meals is something I've been working on. But also, yeah, think about your favorite snacks and what food groups are in them. Jasmine, I see we have one chat.
Yeah, so favorite snack, someone mentioned celery and cream cheese. So this already answers the question on the screen.
Yeah, perfect little segue into that. But that's interesting. I've never had celery and cream cheese together. I'll have to try that.
So we got someone saying mixed nuts, another favorite snack.
You see, I wish I could like nuts, but unfortunately I'm allergic. And so every time I look at them, I just kind of get repulsed. Really makes me sad with trail mix. There's so much trail mix with nuts in it. So I tend to stay away from trail mix a lot. But yeah, can any of y'all think of a protein, dairy, or grain food to pair with one of these? Well, we already had someone say cream cheese, but also with celery, peanut butter. If someone's allergic to peanut butter, then maybe what is it, like sunflower butter or something I've heard is really good and kind of tastes like peanut butter. I haven't ventured really into, I can eat peanuts, so I do eat peanut butter, but I haven't ventured past just peanut butter. So if anyone else has some non-nut products, feel free to chat those in. And then frozen berries, I would think those would be really good with some kind of like yogurt. But yeah, just, kind of thinking about what are ways that we can incorporate more than one food group into some of the snacks we're eating. So here, with celery and a protein, you're hitting two, and then frozen berries and yogurt, you'd also be hitting two of those categories. Go ahead, Jasmine.
I was going to say someone mentioned almond butter.
Okay. I would be curious how that tastes. Unfortunately, I can't taste it, but I'll stop talking about my nut allergy now. I feel like that's the only thing I'm talking about. But anyways, if anyone else can think of a protein, dairy, or grain food to pair with one of these, I think peanut butter goes well with all of these. So if anyone,
Also, Greek yogurt with granola and frozen blueberries.
okay, Jasmine, that sounds really good.
No, someone chatted it.
Oh,
It's not me. I'm not taking credit.
well, thank you for whoever.
Also, yeah, celery and peanut butter. We've got
Awesome.
some great. Everyone's
Hmm.
on top of it today.
Yeah. Also, I guess with the celery and peanut butter, ants on a log, add some raisins on top of that. That's a fun way to get kids excited about what they're eating. But all right, I'll move on. So, what makes it hard to eat healthier snacks? And while y'all are chatting that in, I will move to the next slide. Um, so, I know in some of the other classes we talk a lot about recipe frameworks. Well, recipe frameworks can work for snacks too. And this is a perfect example, trail mix. What I really like about this too is that you can really personalize it based on who's eating it, what they like, food allergies, dietary restrictions, whatever. You can just pick a couple of dried fruit, some nuts, crunchy grains, and other. And right there, you're hitting about 3 different food categories. So trail mix is a great way to try to get a balanced snack with lots of different types of foods. Um, and then also smoothies. I've been making smoothies a lot lately because it's been the easiest way for me to get my fruit servings. I feel like with fruit, it's a little bit harder to figure out a way to incorporate it into a meal as opposed to vegetables. I mean, you can always do like a fruit salad or something, obviously. But vegetables, I feel like, are easier to have a side or something. So smoothies can be a really good way to get a lot of your fruit servings. What I've been doing is I just have like a bag of frozen fruits, all different kinds. I think right now the one I have is like mangoes, pineapples, strawberries, grapes. And then, yeah, I just blend that with ice, a little bit of milk, and sometimes some orange juice. Um, it's a really easy snack, especially for me in the mornings. I have trouble eating a big meal in the morning. So smoothies has been a really good way for me to still, put some nutrition and fuel in my body when I wake up. So that's something to think about.
I'll also say smoothies are fun because if you have any fruits or anything that are going bad, it's really easy to just throw them in a smoothie and
Hmm.
problem solved. They taste just as good.
Yeah, exactly. And I almost think that like a banana that's about to go bad tastes almost better because it's kind of sweeter. And obviously that texture is hard to eat if you're just eating the banana by itself, but if you blend it into a smoothie you can't really get that same texture that you would. So yeah. And also you can easily add vegetables to smoothies. Spinach, it will sometimes maybe turn the smoothie a little green or brown, but also a really good way to get some servings of spinach and vegetables without really, tasting it. I used to make some of my smoothies with spinach for a while, and you really can't tell the difference at all besides in the color. So yeah. And then also dips and spreads are a really good way to, have a balanced snacks. Um, in particular, um, shoot, I just lost my train of thought. But what I was gonna say is what I really like about dips is that they can really save you a lot of time throughout the week. If you think about just making, a big bowl or something on a Sunday, and you can use that throughout the week. You can also switch up maybe what you're dipping in that if you get bored. So you could do carrots, pretzels, crackers, something like that. Also, like I know when I eat vegetables, I can't eat them by themselves. Like I'm not just gonna sit there and eat a bag of carrots. I have to have something to dip them in. And I think most people are probably like that, I would think. but dips are a really good way to also get other categories of foods. And in particular, this vegetable dip is like kind of like a low-fat version of ranch. I eat ranch with just about everything. I have not made this vegetable dip before, but I'm actually really curious about how it tastes because
It tastes good.
it does. You've had it. Does it taste like ranch?
Yeah, it's
All
really
right.
good ranch.
All right. Well, I will have to make that and try it out. But yeah, dips, I think, are a really good way to think about saving a lot of time and just having a lot made at once. And yeah, using it throughout the week as you please. So now we're going to kind of pivot onto something else. So what do you look for on food packages when you buy snacks? And if y'all want to chat that in, you can. Jasmine, I thought I saw that there was a chat notification.
I think someone else has also tried making ranch at home.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right, I'm going to move on now. So when looking at food labels, it's really important to know what we're looking for. One of the most important things is serving size. Um, sometimes you buy something and might think that that whole bag or can or something is just one serving, but then you turn around and look at it. It could be two or three. So if the calories for one serving are 230, and then, there ends up being two or three more servings, you have to multiply that by the calories and you're eating a lot more than you probably expected. Also, it's good to try to limit as much saturated fats as possible. And then trans fat we should avoid at any possible moment, really. And then also with sodium, that's something that's really big, especially when looking at canned vegetables. Um, a lot of vegetables have added sodium into them to make them taste better. So that's something to keep an eye out. But if you do buy canned vegetables with a lot of sodium, all you have to do is strain that can and rinse them off with water, and that'll get a lot of the extra sodium off. And then also sugars. This picture doesn't show, actually, a lot of times it'll actually say added sugars. And what that essentially means is that producer has just pumped a bunch of extra sugar into their product to make it taste better. Obviously we know that there's naturally occurring sugar in fruits. So sugars are by no means bad. I know people probably think, I thought that sugar was just bad for a very long time, but it's just really important to be looking at those added sugars. So yeah. And then also when looking at things that you're buying, it's very important to compare unit prices. Most places will have the unit price up on the rack or something, but if you can't find it, you can easily calculate it. All it is the retail price divided by the number of units. So on this first side on the left, you have a 40-ounce jar of peanut butter. So in order to find the unit price of that, you would take $3.99 and divide it by 40, which would give you a unit price of 10 cents, as it says there. And then for this other one below that, it says 15 ounces of brand A peanut butter. You pay $1.99 up for it, but it's only 15 ounces. So there it kind of works it out down at the bottom left. And you can see 1.99 over 15 equals 0.13 cents per ounce. So actually the 40-ounce jar of peanut butter is cheaper, but don't buy a 40-ounce jar of peanut butter just because, unless you know that you're going to actually go through it and eat it. But technically it is cheaper per unit. And then also sometimes foods might not be in the same unit price, so you'll have to convert them. I do not know unit conversions on the top of my head, so I usually have to look this up, but Yeah, in the top right corner, it says when comparing unit prices, it helps to know that 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So you would want to take pounds and convert that into ounces, which this example of whole carrots is 5 pounds. So you would do 5 pounds times 16 ounces, which it gives you 80 ounces. But it's also important to know when you're doing that to always convert to a smaller unit. If you convert to a bigger unit, you're most likely going to end up with like a very small decibel, and it will just be harder to kind of compare. So usually the easiest thing to do is go from a bigger unit to a smaller unit. And Jasmine, I saw that we have a chat. I don't know if you want to read it now.
Someone mentioned that they will definitely eat a 40-ounce jar of peanut butter.
Yeah, I probably could too. So you're not alone on that.
Yep, too. We've got a lot of peanut butter lovers here.
Yep. So here's another example of just comparing two similar items, but making sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. So on the left, we have a picture of whole carrots, and on the right, we have a picture of baby carrots. So this already has the unit price out for us and the retail price, which in this case, the unit price is the same as the retail price because it's just 1 pound. But if you notice that the whole carrots are 50 cents cheaper than the baby carrots. So usually, yeah, if you buy something like a whole food, it's going to be generally cheaper. So that's something to keep in mind. And then also, this is just helping get familiar with reading those nutrition labels. If you look at both of these, ingredients are just carrots. So that means there's nothing extra added into it. So that's something to keep in mind.
But you can even tell, like, just in the baby carrots, that they have a little bit more sodium than the whole carrots do. So I feel like it's important to say that any amount that anything gets processed, you'll have a little bit, even if it's just a little, you'll have a little bit more of something there to look for.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jasmine. And so here we have more examples of carrots. So yeah, you can see the shredded carrots, $3.18 per pound. That is, very expensive as compared to these other products. And that's because, yeah, the producer is actually shredding those carrots themselves. Generally, the more work a producer has to do, the more expensive a product is going to be. So really trying to stick to buying Whole Foods is going to save you a lot of money. And then on the other side, we have an example of sliced carrots, which is $1.13 per pound. Generally, canned goods are going to be relatively cheap. But the thing is with canned carrots is that you want to keep in mind what are the ingredients. So you can see that the ingredients for the shaved carrots is just carrots. However, for the canned carrots, you have carrots, salt, and water. So that means that producer is actually adding salt into their product to make it taste better. But again, if you find some vegetables in your pantry and it has added salt, don't feel like you have to throw it away. You can easily strain it and rinse some of that salt off, or eat it as is. I would probably say eating vegetables is still good, but that's just something to be mindful of and to check when you're purchasing certain foods.
And you might also want to base it just off of like whatever you're making. Maybe it depends on the texture of what you're putting into it. Like if whatever you're making calls for canned veggies, don't feel like you can't throw them in there because you feel like it's going to have too much sodium. Whatever budgetarily and everything, whatever works. There are options with everything.
Exactly. Thank you, Jasmine. So now we have more examples of some, well, on the left, we have an example of granola, and then on the right, we just have oats. So you can see that the unit prices for granola are 33 cents per ounce, but rolled oats are only 12 cents per ounce, but you're also, and the retail price is $4.99, but you're getting 42 ounces as compared to a 12-ounce bag of granola. So this makes like a lot of sense when we're thinking about maybe making some of our own snacks as opposed to just buying a bag of granola because it's going to be a lot more expensive. And then also, if you look at the ingredients, the bag of granola, naturally milled sugar, expeller pressed canola oil, maple syrup, whey crisp rice with sugar, salt, and barley malt. So there's just a lot of different things, and a lot of things that you might not know what are. I mean, I don't know what a lot of those are. But then on the other side, your rolled oats, the only ingredient is a whole grain rolled oat. So that's something definitely.
Sorry,
What
Will,
was?
but it's not even that those ingredients are necessarily bad for you, but it's that with the regular rolled oats, you can add whatever spices, seasonings, any flavor you want to it, and you can make it whatever you want it to be.
Exactly. Um, and yeah, and keeping in mind those added sugars and stuff. The bag of granola has 10 grams of added sugars, which right there is 20% of your daily value. So yeah, just keeping that in mind, making sure you're reading both sides of the label. Everything on the front of a product is purely marketing. So don't necessarily always trust what they say on the front. Just turn it around and read the nutrition label, and you'll know everything that you need to know about that product. So was there anything that surprised y'all when y'all looked at these labels? And as y'all type that in, I will move on to the next slide, which is a video of a recipe for fruit and yogurt parfait. I hope the video works. I think it should. I tried it earlier. There's no, I don't know if there'll be sounds. Yeah, so what I really love about that recipe is that you get pretty much every food category, I guess besides vegetables. But you get your fruits, your dairy, protein with nuts, grains. So yeah, that's a very simple snack that you can make. Also, really when thinking about kids, I think this is a good way to get them thinking about maybe what they would want to put in it. I think giving them some choices will make them more interested in the food that they're eating, and make them enjoy it a lot more. But you can obviously, like limit some of the choices that they can make. They can't just get whatever they want. You have to, or you can say, you can pick out of these things, or just, however works for your family.
I also really like these because you can prep them like how you would prep maybe meals at the beginning of the week. You can prep these as snacks, and it could kind of replace like those store-bought little prepackaged yogurts because those also have a lot of added sugars, like sometimes even just as much as a candy bar. You can compare them. It's
Yes.
alarming.
Exactly. Thank you, Jasmine. And yeah, like just going off what she said, you can make that like a big bowl or batch or something at the beginning of the week and put them in little individual containers and have them in the fridge or freezer, and grab them when you need them, or after work, after school or something, whenever you need just a little snack. But yeah, that is a really great way to think about that. So thank you, Jasmine, for bringing that up. And I'm going to move on to the next slide.
So, Will, in the slide before this one, you asked what surprised folks about nutrition facts labels. And we've got one that said the salt levels are what stood out. And I think that's the main thing that is alarming for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. It is very surprising when you start to take note of it and start looking for that. Because, you wouldn't necessarily think that there would just be a bunch of added sodium in a can of vegetables. But yeah, definitely be mindful for that. And then with fruits, you're generally going to want to look at how much added sugar is in that as opposed to sodium for vegetables. And will it, there we go. So, what does it mean to be a role model for your kids around healthy snacking, and how are you doing this already? If any of y'all have any comments on this question, please feel free to chat in. Um, I obviously do not have any kids, so I do not necessarily. I would like to hear what other people have to say about this because I do not have any experience in this area. So yeah, please feel free to chat in if anyone has an idea. But I think that's going to take us to the end. So today's top tips: when you can, make your own snacks in place of packaged snacks. That's going to really save you a lot of money. I know it can be more work at times, but thinking about it in a way where you sit down one day in the week and prepare a bunch of snacks that can be grab on the go is a good way to save time throughout the week. And this can also help kids get the healthy foods they need and can also be a great activity to do together. And yeah, that's, I think, it's probably a lot more nerve-wracking having a kid help cook with like a full meal. So maybe if you're just comfortable with starting with snacks, getting them to help, cooking or preparing snacks. Usually there's less dangerous equipment involved, and if a snack comes out bad, it's not as big of a deal as a whole meal. So yeah, getting them involved is a good way to get them excited too about what they're eating. Buy food in whole forms, larger packages and containers, and generic brands to quickly find better deals and bring home more fruits and veggies to use in snacks. And then the most important thing you can do to encourage healthy snacking is to model healthy snacking yourself, especially while you are home together. So we know that kids, pick up a lot of their behaviors from things that they watch us do. So they like to mimic us. So if they see you eating, a balanced snack or meal, they're more likely to want to try it or eat the same thing that you're eating. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, so Will, we got some responses before you move on to resources. I will say someone mentioned that sadly they don't think that they're a good role model for snacking. And then someone else mentioned that they just try to buy good stuff because they'll eat whatever's around. But I will say, if you don't feel like you're a very good role model in this regard, don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay to have some snacks that you maybe don't think are too healthy sometimes because sometimes we just need comfort. And as long as it's not every single snack that you're eating, it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're kind of all learning and experience this as we go and move on. So, yeah, I know food can sometimes be kind of a hard thing to talk about, but that's really what, our mission kind of is making people feel more comfortable discussing some of, the successes, whether, or the failures or challenges or whatever it might be. Definitely do not feel discouraged. It is a ongoing process, and we're constantly changing and adapting to what's going on in the world. So yeah, no reason to feel bad at all. But if y'all are looking for any resources, we have the Cooking Matters app. Again, it's only available for Android users, so if you have a iPhone, you will not be able to download it, but you can go to our cookingmatters.org/recipes. And there's a bunch of different recipes on there, and you can filter it by specific types of meals or different recipes. I would definitely check that out if you can. You can also follow our Cooking Matters Arkansas Facebook page, and then there's also the Cooking Matters National Facebook page. So if you follow the Arkansas one, you'll see a lot of different recipes and also different events that we'll have going on. So please feel free to stop by and like us on Facebook. And then also we have some books too there's the URL. If you're ever looking for activity books kind of and for families. And then if you'll have any questions, you can reach out to Alex, our nutrition outreach manager, or Sam. She's a registered dietitian. She's our nutrition director. So yeah, if you have any like very specific questions about food, or they can probably answer it a lot better than I can. However, if you would like a copy of some of the slides from today, please email me, wstafford@arhungeralliance.org. And I will, yeah, if y'all want that, just email me this week or something, and I'll try to give that out to everyone that sends me a message by Friday. But thank you everyone for joining. I had a good time, and I look forward to seeing y'all at our next class. But y'all have a good rest of your Tuesday night.